I trained for just 1 year. Everybody in the tournament was a lot better than me. They had more skills than me and more experience than me. But I won anyway. And here is the reason why. I'm Scott Watson. I have been helping transform businesses for the last 15 years to take their business to the next level. But this lesson today doesn't come from business. It comes from a kickboxing tournament. My coaching experience doesn't come from a weekend certificate. I've been running successful businesses for the last 18 years. However, before that, I was a semi-pro rugby player. So I like to bring many of my lessons from my time in sport into business and into coaching. However, I was going through a stage a few years ago where, out of the blue, I set myself a goal to take part in a kickboxing tournament, in the regional kickboxing tournament, and I trained for 1 year. And about 3 months before the regional tournament was taking place, I put my name down. Yep. On paper, I'd never kickboxed before. I was only 9 months of training, and my competitors in the tournament were a lot better skilled, a lot more experienced. But this lesson I'm teaching you today is something which I like to bring into business because it really does work. I did not feel any fear putting my name down for that tournament. In fact, as soon as I put my name down, I started to believe that I was going to win that tournament. Even though on paper it looked absolutely crazy. Some guy just registered who'd never been in a tournament before. The competitors were younger than me, more skilled than me, and had more experience than me. But I firmly believed the minute I signed that form that I was going to win. And I worked hard on the training because it's not just I'm going to believe I'm going to win and not do anything. Yeah, and like in business, it's not believe you're going to be the best, believe you're going to achieve great things, but just sit back and don't do anything. You actually have to take action to the strategy. Yeah, and yeah, I did have a strategy going into that tournament, but the strategy was 10% of me winning that tournament. Yeah, the 9% of that was me believing that I was capable, good enough, and could win that tournament. And that's exactly what I did. But for the 3 months leading up to that, every time I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I was running, I used to do 10K runs 5 times a week. I always had in my head that I was up earlier than my opponent and I was going to beat my opponent because my opponent was fast asleep. And then when I would train in the evenings, I would treat every spar or every workout like I was defeating my opponent. And there was no way I was losing. The word losing never, ever, ever came into my mind. I remember my wife said to me once, she said to me, Scott, says, what about if you don't win? And I said, I need you out of my atmosphere if you're going to say that. We don't even think about that. So I went in that tournament with the full belief that I was going to win. I was prepared to make an absolute fool out of myself. I'm telling everybody I'm going to win. They could make an absolute fool of me, because I have zero experience. And I remember getting to the final and being in the final fight. And I knew I'd won the tournament before the fight because I saw my opponent who had won the tournament several years beforehand, 10 years more experience than me. And I could see the fear in his eyes. And I knew that my belief, with my strategy, which I had, I knew in my belief that I was going to win. And guess what? I won. I won a tournament with 1 year of experience against other people who were far more experienced than me. I can say it right now because I didn't say it about them because I was in my belief system. They were all better than me. They were all better than me by far. And if I did not believe that I was going to win that tournament, I would not have won it. What won me that tournament was my own belief in my own ability, what I was telling myself, the words I was telling myself. And that is so, so powerful. And when you bring that into business with your strategy, that is when the magic happens. And that is what I do. I transform people's business mindset to feel like they're going to win. And then they put the strategy into action and they win. So that's my kickboxing story, proving that anybody can achieve anything. Experience doesn't matter. You've just got to believe in yourself, and you've just got to feed yourself kind words and belief words every single day, and put those belief words, connect it to your strategy, and that is where the results come. So if something resonated with you on this video today, there's a link for my weekly email where I share weekly tips how you can take your business to the next level. And if you enjoyed the video and want to see some more, subscribe to the channel. I hope you enjoyed my story today.